So, according to the official IELTS IDP website, these are the most common mistakes that people make in the IELTS speaking exam. So, in this video, we will look at all these mistakes and then we will look at what you can do to make sure that you do not make any of these mistakes. So let's begin. Okay, so according to the official IDP website, the number one mistake that people make in the IELTS speaking exam is trying to memorize answers. So memorizing answers is a huge mistake because firstly, you don't know what you're memorizing answers for. So you can memorize your answers for different types of speaking questions, but there is no guarantee that you will be asked those questions. Okay, you do not know what questions will be asked in the IELTS speaking exam. So what can we do? There's two things that you can do instead of memorizing answers, and you want to do them in order. So the first thing is just to watch IELTS speaking exam videos, and there's a bunch of these on YouTube. So you can watch these videos, and the benefit of watching these videos is that you will get an insight of how the questions are asked, and more importantly, how different people answer these type of questions. So these videos that I've seen, I'll leave some links in the description below that I would recommend. Some of these videos actually tell you in the title that this student's got a band 8 or a band 7. So by watching these videos, you will know what a band 7 answer looks like or a band 8 answer looks like. And the second thing that you can do is go on any official IELTS website. So you can go on the IDP website or the British Council website. There are also some other websites that I might recommend. Again, I'll leave them in the description below. If you go on these websites, they have a bunch of different IELTS speaking questions. Now, what you want to do is just highlight the questions that you find the easiest to answer. So you can highlight them or just write them down. You want to get to around about 20 or 30 different questions. And once you've written all these questions out, or you've got them on one document, then you just want to answer them over and over again. Remember, we're answering the easiest questions. And the reason why we are answering the easiest questions is because this will help boost our confidence. And once our confidence is high, then we can try to challenge ourselves with the more difficult questions. By doing both of these things, watching the IELTS exams on YouTube and practicing, this will help you get a higher score than perhaps you would have done by just memorizing answers. Now, the second mistake that people make according to the IDP is not speaking loud and not speaking with confidence. Now, for this mistake, I completely understand and sympathize with the candidates. Naturally, you will feel nervous. I mean, if you think about it, it's the only time in the IELTS exam where you will be one-to-one with an examiner. And on top of that, your voice will be getting recorded and you will just know that, okay, we are in an exam, so I cannot make any mistakes. So these things will naturally make you feel a little bit nervous, and you might, just as a result of it, speak a little bit low. But because the IDP have identified this as one of the common mistakes, what you can do is, again, just like mistake number one, you can just practice over and over and over again. Now, that might seem like a very generic piece of advice. So to be a bit more specific, the way to practice is try to speak English with as many different people as possible. The more people you speak to, the more natural English will become. If you only practice with your friend, for example, and the moment you get into the exam, you will notice that, okay, then I'm not speaking with my friend anymore. It's a completely different person. You will get nervous, okay? So try to practice speaking with as many different people as possible. And another thing that you can do is make sure your body language is correct, okay? And make sure you're using the correct facial expressions. So what I mean by that is you want to sit up straight. Even when I'm recording these videos, I make sure that I sit up straight because naturally it just makes you look confident and it makes you sound more confident. So you want to sit up straight, and every now and then it doesn't hurt to just smile. This again will help you with your confidence. Okay, now the next mistake that people often make in IELTS speaking exam is going off topic. So before I explain how we can make sure that we do not go off topic, I just want to explain what going off topic actually means and how it happens. So what does going off topic means? Well, this is where you speak about a specific topic. So just say you are asked questions about movies. Okay, so you're talking about movies, and the next thing you know, you're talking about your favorite clothes or your favorite food. You are completely off topic. You're talking about a completely different topic than what the question was. So that's what going off topic means. Now, how does this happen? Okay, if we know how it happens, then we know how to avoid it. Okay, so how does it happen? Well, it usually happens when people speak for long periods of time. So many people, you might be included in this, okay? Many people think that the more you speak, the more marks you might get. Okay, that's not actually true in the IELTS speaking exam. Yes, you do not want to just give 1 or 2 word answers, but that does not mean that you can just speak for a very long time and you will be guaranteed a high mark. So how do we avoid going off topic? Well, just answer the question, okay? And then give 1 or 2 additional points. So for example, if the examiner asks me, they probably won't ask me this, but this example is just for this video. If the examiner asks me, what is your favorite TV show? I can just say, Friends. That's it, just a 1-word answer. Yes, that might not be a good enough answer, so we just build on the answer. We can just say, Friends. One of the main reasons why I love watching Friends is because the episodes are always funny. That's it. I've answered the question and I've just given an extra bit of detail. There's no need to give even more information because the examiner didn't ask for it. Giving 1 or 2 pieces of information is fine. Really, we do not want to go overboard and give any more than that. And that's how we go off topic. And that's the thing that we need to avoid. Right, the next mistake that people make, and this is similar to the previous example, is giving yes or no as your answer with no elaboration. So what does elaboration mean? Elaboration is where you do not build on your answer. So there are 2 types of questions. There's something called open questions and there are something called closed questions. Closed questions are those that only require yes or no answers, or maybe just 1 or 2 answers. For example, do you like coffee? You can answer that in 1 word. You can say yes, or you can say no. And you think, I might have just answered that question. But remember, you are in a speaking exam. Your speaking is what is getting tested, okay? So use this opportunity to show off your skills. Just like the previous example, what you want to do is build on your answer. So let's look at an example to see how this actually looks like. So the examiner might ask me, do you have any siblings? Instead of just saying yes, I can say, yes, I have 2 older brothers and 1 younger sister. That's it. I've answered the question, given a bit extra information, and that's the job done. Now, mistake number 6 is repeating the same words or phrases. So, in the IELTS speaking exam, as I mentioned previously, this is your time to show off your speaking skills. So what you want to do is show off your vocabulary. Don't just use the same words over and over again. So how can we make sure that we do not make this mistake of just repeating the same words? 1 answer. Synonyms. Use synonyms. So if you don't know what synonyms are basically where you have more than 1 word that mean the same thing or mean similar things. So for example, a synonym of big is huge or gigantic or large. A synonym of small is tiny. You get the idea. So the more synonyms we learn, the less likely we are to make this mistake. So build your vocabulary, and we can do this by learning synonyms. Right, the next mistake is overusing transition words. Now this is a bit of a tricky one, okay? If this wasn't on the IDP website, I don't think even I would know this, okay? So what is a transition word? Well, a transition word is a word that connects one point to another. We usually use this in writing, okay? We can use it in speaking as well. So when we use it in writing, okay, it's when we connect a sentence to the next sentence or one paragraph to the next, so it flows naturally. So in speaking, we might use words such as also, or furthermore, or additionally. Now, using these words, I want to make this very clear. It's actually a very good thing if you can use these words. The problem occurs when you use these words too frequently, okay? So let's look at an example, okay? Now, if I'm talking about the different food items I like, okay? I can say I like chocolates, I like crisps, I like biscuits. Also, I like vegetables. Can you see the transition word that I've used there? Now, let's look at the other example where I frequently use transition words. I like chocolates. Also, I like crisps. Additionally, I like vegetables. Furthermore, I like water. I don't know where that example came from, but you get the idea. So using transition words is fine. The mistake happens when we use them too much. So how can we make sure this doesn't happen? Well, what you can do is just answer some speaking questions, like I mentioned in, I think, mistake number 1. Answer them, but this time what you want to do is record your own voice. Now, when you record your own voice, when you've finished answering the questions, go back and listen to the audio or watch the video if you've made a video recording, and then just listen out for how many times you use transition words. Usually it'll be very obvious if you use them too many times. If you think you've used them too many times, the chances are that the examiner also thinks that you may have used them too many times. So really, we want to use them every now and then. There's no specific number here. If you just throw them in there randomly, that's fine. Not after every sentence, or not even after every 2 sentences, okay? Right, the final mistake that people make, and this is an interesting one, and this is parroting the question and poor pronunciation. So there's actually 2 mistakes here. Parroting the question and poor pronunciation. So let's talk about parroting the question first. So what is parroting the question? So this is when the examiner asks you a question and then you repeat the question back to the examiner in the form of a statement, okay? So let me give you an example to show you what that looks like. So, what is your favorite sport to watch on TV? My favorite sport to watch on TV is football, okay? That is parroting. So what I did there is I repeated the question that the examiner asked me in the form of a statement. Now, it doesn't really look like a big mistake, okay? But again, we want to show off our speaking skills. We don't just want to repeat the same words that the examiner asked us, okay? So how can we fix this? Well, I'm going to show you another example of how to avoid parroting, okay? What is your favorite sport to watch on TV? Well, I usually watch a lot of football and basketball, so it's probably those 2 that are my favorite. Can you see the difference? Now, the difference might be hard to see, so if you have to, just go back and watch both examples again. But what we're looking out for is that the second example just seems more natural and a bit more authentic, okay? That's what we are aiming for, and that is why mistake number 1 was in there as well, where we try to memorize answers, okay? When you memorize them, it doesn't seem natural, it doesn't seem authentic, okay? Remember, you're just having a conversation with the examiner. Now, that brings us to the end of this video. If you have any tips that you would like to share, make sure you put them in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.